You're dating someone, things seem to be going great, when suddenly he pulls away. The texting is less frequent, or maybe it stops altogether. He's not asking you out for another date. What's going on? Why do men pull away, and what do you do and not do when he does? First, let's answer why men pull away. There are two common reasons why men begin to communicate less often. Number one, he is busy and needs some space. And number two, he's losing interest in you. Let's talk about if he's busy and needs some space. I recommend getting curious about what that means to him. I'm assuming that he has told you, I'm busy and need some space. You should ask him some questions like, how busy are you? Are you too busy to see me? What does space mean? How long do you need? Is this a reason to break up, date other people, or simply wait it out? Those are things you need to consider when a man says he needs space. Often it means he wants to break up with you and he's just buying time, but sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes he actually is really busy with something really important, like a work project, or somebody is sick in the family and he has an emergency. Don't immediately assume anything. Reason number two, he's losing interest in you. That's much more common. If that's the case, it can feel hurtful, it can feel painful. You may have developed some strong feelings for him. You might have been planning a future with him, often before there's even enough in the present to know him well enough to see a future or plan a future. And as hard as it is to accept that he is pulling away due to a lack of interest, I want you to process this before reacting in any way, which leads me to what not to do when he loses interest. Number one, don't try to win him back. The worst thing you can do is to push, to beg, to start doing things that are manipulative. Even though it's hard, respect his wish and realize some things that aren't working in this relationship. Number two, don't ruminate and overthink about what you might have done wrong. We often just go to self-blame. What's wrong with me? What did I do to cause this? And I don't want you to ruminate and overthink because there's a good chance that it has nothing to do with you. And number three, don't lash out at him in anger. One of the biggest issues is that when you're hurt, you get angry and you want to take it out on him. Your ego has been hurt. You feel hurt. And so, how dare you is not a good response. What to do if he pulls away? Let's talk about that. Number one, communicate with him. Send him a simple text. I noticed a change in your communication. Is there something you want to discuss with me? That text will put you back in your power. If he's willing to talk to you about what's going on, you can have a conversation that might actually bring you closer. It also might end things, but that will give you closure and you will have your answer. Don't avoid communication. This is something we often do, is like just give it time, wait and see, what is he going to do? And then you're sitting there with anxiety. So do communicate and see what happens. Number two, practice self-compassion. If he indeed disappears and ghosts you, that hurts. This is one of the hardest things to deal with. And so in that case, I recommend you practice self-compassion and be kind to yourself. There's an exercise that I recommend to clients by Kristen Neff. She is the queen of self-compassion. And here is how it goes. I recommend you do this for any difficult situation. Anytime you're stressed, this is a perfect exercise. Think of a situation in your life that's difficult, that's causing you stress. Call the situation to mind and see if you can feel it in your body. And now say to yourself, this is a moment of suffering. That is how you bring mindfulness to the situation and you separate I am suffering to this is a moment of suffering. Other ways that you can express that is this hurts, or ouch, or this is stress. Number two, suffering is a part of life, and that's humanity. And other ways you can express that is other people feel this way, I'm not alone, or we all struggle in our lives. What you're doing is you're saying, I am not alone here. I am part of a bigger picture. Lots of people go through this. So while I am in pain and while this hurts, This is also a part of life. And now, put your hands over your heart and feel the warmth of your hands and the gentle touch of your hands on your chest. And say to yourself, may I be kind to myself. You can also ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now to express kindness to myself? Is there a phrase that speaks to you in your particular situation, like, may I give myself the compassion I need? May I learn to accept myself as I am? May I forgive myself? May I be strong? May I be patient? This practice can be used any time of day or night and will help you remember to evoke the 3 aspects of self-compassion when you need it most. So, have you ever dated a man who pulled away? I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, I hope you go on your last first date.